guys, what's up? It's Allison. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe before you leave and leave a comment down below if you want to see more videos like this. Give me some video ideas maybe. Today I thought I would make a rebuttal video to my last video, which was why I regret buying my house. So today I want to tell you why I'm glad I bought my house. I know my last video might have seemed a little bit negative, but that was just because I want to make sure if you are looking to buy a house that you really consider all the factors that I didn't consider and you make the best decision for you. Hopefully this video doesn't scare you away from buying a house, because that was not what I was doing. I really just wanted everyone to make the best decision for them. So the very first reason why I'm glad I bought my house, and I think if you've watched my other videos you probably already know this, is that it is cheaper than renting. Where I'm at, it is so much cheaper than renting. What I'm paying now, my mortgage is $967 and I live in a 3-bedroom 2-bath house. It is a small house, it's only 1,100 square feet, but honestly it's more than enough space for me. Where I did live was in a 2-2 apartment, and that was $1,330 a month. So I had a roommate, I didn't pay that whole amount. But if I were to go in that area and go find either a 1-1 or a 2-2 apartment, I would at minimum be paying $1,250 a month. Like the bare minimum for a 1-bedroom now is $1,250 a month, which is insane. So when you add all that up, $967 versus $1,250, that's about $300 of savings every month, or $3,600 a year. And I know people are gonna say, oh, but if your air conditioner breaks, you know, you have to go and replace that. Well, yes, I agree, and that sucks, but I'm saving $3,600 a year, so I think I'll be able to cover that. And just based on the things I've done this year, I've only spent $800 in repairs so far, and it was totally specific to my house. Like, these were not standard repairs by any means, so if that hadn't happened, like, I wouldn't have even spent that money. And if you also consider what I would have to pay to get a 3-bedroom 2-bathroom apartment, honestly, I'm pretty sure I'd be looking at $1,450 minimum, like bare minimum, $1,450. That's another, what, $500? Yeah, so I think I'm doing pretty good with what I got here. Like, someone I work with who lives basically across the street from our work in an apartment is always like, oh yeah, like, I'm so glad I can just call my repair person every single time and I don't have to pay for it. And I'm like, yeah, but I save money that you don't save every single month, so I'm glad about that. And honestly, if you're thinking about buying a house and you want to change from renting, you should definitely consider that, because if buying a house is a lot more expensive than it would be for you to rent an equivalent apartment, like, that just doesn't make sense. I know financially a lot of people want to build equity and they want to start, you know, settling down and all that kind of stuff. If it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. Definitely listen to the numbers. I know it feels like one of those things that it's like a goal you have to reach, but if it's gonna cost you a significant amount more, you know, if it's gonna cost you $100 more, maybe that's worth it to you. That's pretty reasonable. But I mean, if I had to pay $300 more to buy a house versus renting, there's no way I would have done it. That just, I mean, at my salary, that just doesn't make sense. I would be pretty much broke at that point. So definitely glad that I made the decision to buy a house, but it's not everyone's cup of tea. Totally understand that, and that's fair. The second reason that I'm glad I bought my house is that in addition to saving on rent every single month, I'm also putting money to where it helps me in the future. Whereas when you pay your rent, you're never gonna see that money again. Like, it's just gone. When you have a house, you're building equity in that house. So down the road when I decide to sell, I'm not only likely to have appreciation in my house, but I'm also going to have built equity in my house. I'm fairly certain that if I wanted to walk away from my house right now, I would have at least $10,000 in equity and $10,000 in appreciation. So 20 grand in my pocket, basically right off the bat. can't really complain about that. And I have not put $20,000 into my house. Also, for that $20,000, I just want to say that is the bare minimum that I would expect to get if I walked away today. There was a house literally 2 blocks away from me that was exact same square footage. Honestly, I think it was less square footage than mine. Same 3-2, same size yard as me. It's very comparable to my house. Location is a tiny bit different because I'm on like I'm like on the entrance to the neighborhood versus they're more back in the neighborhood. So that's really the only difference. I bought my house for $148,000. I think I could sell it for about $160,000 at the minimum. I don't really know because I'm not that in tune with real estate prices, but that house sold for $225,000. So I could probably even get like $180,000 for this house at this point, to be honest. But I'm not really sure about that. But the fact that that house was able to get $225,000 right now, and it is extremely similar, like if not smaller than my house, that's crazy and awesome. And who knows? Maybe I'll get $200,000 for this house when I sell it. I don't really know. That's, again, just my bare minimum estimate, but could turn out really well for me. And I'm sure there's going to be people that want to say, what if the market goes down? What if the market crashes? What if your house is worth $20,000 less tomorrow? You know what? That's fine, because Jacksonville has an insanely good rental market, and I could just rent my house out. I hope that I can find pictures of this house in my neighborhood that was for rent, because so I pay $967. I think if I rented this house out, I could get minimum like $1350 for it, like minimum. And I'm pretty sure that's what this house, if I can find I really hope I can find pictures, because I'm pretty sure that's what this house was renting out for. And it was disgusting. Like, I don't know why anyone would pay that much to rent that house. Like, it was disgusting and outdated, like on the inside. Just to put it in perspective, the front window of the house had like that white like etching, and it was an aigrette. Like those big white birds, it was an aigrette etched into the front window. Like, if that doesn't tell you how outdated the house was, like, I don't know what does. I don't think that house has been touched in at least 30 years. The rental market in Jacksonville is always going to be pretty great. There's still tons of development to come. You know, there's new companies moving in all the time. We have a Navy base where I'm located. There's 2 Navy bases, 2 large Navy bases, like about equal distance from my house on either side. So that's always going to bring people in. So there's just always going to be that rental potential in Jacksonville. Like, so I'd never really need to be concerned if the market did go down and I couldn't sell my house, or if I would sell my house, the equity would be really far down. So basically, any way I look at it is a win for me. Can't complain about that. Third reason I'm really glad I bought my house is that the location I'm in now versus the place I was where I was renting is just 180 difference. So where I was renting, I was near a bunch of like developments, near a bunch of shopping. If you know the town center in Jacksonville, that's where it was. There was literally an IKEA like down the road from me. If that doesn't tell you what kind of area it was, like, yeah. And now I'm in a super awesome residential area. You know, I can go take my dog for a walk and go to the park. I can just walk around the neighborhood, look at all these really awesome houses. I mean, I love the area that I live. I would not trade it for anything. I honestly knew nothing about this location before I moved here. And now I don't want to live anywhere else in Jacksonville. Like, even if I bought another house, I would love to stay in this neighborhood because it's so nice and so cozy, and there's small houses, and then there's like really cool like historic Spanish houses, and it's such a neat area. Everything's already been developed, so it's not the crazy like construction area of Jacksonville, and it's just I just wouldn't trade this location for anything, to be honest. The fourth reason that I'm really glad I bought my house, and this is kind of a no-brainer, is that it's my own. Like, it's my house. I can do whatever I want to it. Like, I painted the walls of this room, and I love it. And you know, it's just that value of like, this is mine now. There's just so much pride in that, and I just love the feeling. Even if I have to go cut the yard, which I hate, I'm still like, well, look what I just did. Look how nice my house looks now that I cut the yard. It's kind of silly, but I just feel like I've accomplished so much, even though all I did was put a couple $1,000s down to buy this house. But you know, it feels nice. I feel like I can do what I want to this house and I can make it my own, and I definitely never felt that way living in an apartment. My last apartment, I did not hang a single decoration on the wall, like not one. It just never felt like home. I liked the people I lived near, and the apartment complex was totally fine, but it just never felt like a place I was going to stay, and I really didn't like that. I didn't think it mattered before, but now that I realize, like, every time I get a new piece of furniture or like a rug or a painting, I'm like, this is for my house, and I'm putting my stamp on it, and I'm making it my own, and that just, it feels really nice. Like, maybe that's a little cheesy, and that's not a financial reason to go and buy a house, but there's just something about it that I wouldn't trade for the world. And I can't really imagine going back to renting at this point. Like, it would make me a little sad. Like, I couldn't paint the walls. Everything in my old apartment was like super yellow and ugh. But now this is just my aesthetic. Like, look at all this white and like neutral wall color. I just love it. So yeah, that's pretty much it for reasons that I'm glad I bought my house. I'm sure I'll probably think of more after I end this video, but hopefully that was a little more positive than my last one and makes you realize that buying a house is not always a bad thing. You just have to be smart about it. So watch my last video. Don't make the mistakes that I did. Make good decisions. Buy a house if it makes sense for you. You know, it is definitely a financial decision, but it can also be an emotional one. But you have to really weigh the pros and cons and make the best decision for you. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and leave some comments down below of some new video ideas for me. And don't forget to subscribe if you have not done that. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.